DIY with Craig. What we're going to do is assemble the 226W tender, and we're going to start by screwing the coal pile in. You can tell this is modern. You know, the stamping looks like it's old, but it's not. But we have Phillips screwdrivers. I mean Phillips head screws. And it says Lionel here. The originals, pre-wars, post-wars, didn't. We're going to show you on the engines how you can tell the difference. I was talking to someone last night, and they were saying that some old guys ground off the identification plates up here on the front of the engine, you know, but all pre-war, post-war, and modern all say Lionel, but they all say it in a different way. Okay, so this is the clothespin type stanchions that came on this. They can be used, but when you spread them again, sometimes they break. Now, these screw on easy because they're straight in, and they're 6, and only 4 of them get nuts. So if there's any bad ones, you can forego them, or you could slide put some of these others in there, but I'm not going to do that. And here's the one that doesn't want to screw on. So you can get a close-up on it. You can see the screws are messed up on the end. Threads. Putting the good ones on to go there. The bad one can go here. the nuts out. Looks like they gave us some extra nuts. Not enough. If we wanted to, we could screw those on, but the original ones, they always lift the nuts off, these two. And then there's these 4 corner. How we can do these first. I always wonder how they... Give them a bend. Now these all have a certain angle to them. Just gotta sort of give them a try. There's a groove there. No. There's a little hole there. It keeps the line right. the big saddle step. Pin goes here. And the screw. Here we go again. On the pre-wars, these are slot head screws, not Phillips. And I just remembered, this one didn't get tight, but it looks like, I think when I got this step was off of it. That one didn't tighten when I put it in. And I think this is the one. Oh, gee. In the previous videos, you go back, and this is the truck sweep cleaned up, and this style front truck is probably more on a 263 Vanderbilt tender with that kind of flat bars. And this one is the special one we made. It had flat bars, but we insulated them, and I made that special hook to offset down. And then we got to just twist this for the drawbar so it don't fall out. And the tender we're going to redo this because some reason this little guy didn't stay in the hole. I suspect it doesn't have enough bend on the end. extra piece of metal that is right here, but not on the modern. And then this, like I said, always fun to hook up the tender. I'm doing this so you understand why if you use the modern bar, it makes your life easy. Camera can't get in here to see what I'm doing, but you know, the hard part is sticking the pin through the drawbar. There we go. You can see it. Now all we gotta do is see if it whistles. Should, I tested it already. All the screws. This was a pretty clean whistle they got found. And it's a big old self-centering ball bearing. Dry as a bone. Here's some fancy lube. I wonder if the wick's still there. You gotta be careful how much oil you get on there. The brushes will get oily and then they arc and it don't work either. But then micro needles are good about not putting a lot of oil on if you don't. for those reasons, I think it's the pre-war Hudson didn't have a whistle. Didn't have, well, it had a whistle, but it didn't have smoke. And it didn't turn on tighter radiuses than 72 inches. And anyhow, then they have metal fatigue, but who knows? These may get them too. So anyhow, this is how you can make one for a whole lot less than you'd pay to buy an original. Takes some time, but it's worth it. And let's show them the... This is built by Lionel Corp, and we got this really magnified. I couldn't see it with my glasses on. The remakes in the 80s just have Lionel on that plate. Okay, so I'm telling you all this because the idea isn't to fake it and put one over on you. When I made these, I wanted to make something better than any of them. So that's why I made them, and I'm showing you how to do them. But if anybody tries to say, oh, this is original, and you don't see what I'm telling you here, it isn't. And beware, because even on repairs on original engines, they have been, when the cab busts all up, somebody had a license for partial castings, and they actually, repaired the bodies. So, there's all kinds of stuff out there. And then there's the Hudson Products bodies that are not exactly the same length, but the mechanisms may or may not fit. So, just like I said, beware. And then the other thing you can see is on the pre-war one, you could add the piping like the scale Hudson had. The bossing's there. It's not here. And that's another tell. So, and I'll point out something else. These safety valves, you see they stick out above the top here? On the remakes, they don't. And it even looks like the collar around them is lower on the remake. So, anyhow, we're going to get out post-war Hudson and see what the built number says on it next. This is an original 1950 Hudson. And as you can see on that casting, it says built by Lionel Corp. And it doesn't have this body. Looks more like the remake, and what it has, the valve gear hanger on it, but the 80s ones doesn't. But these are things you should know and you can access when you're at a show or something and looking at stuff, because until you put them side by side, you won't notice this stuff, And if you're in York and you're in a dark lit building, you're not going to even see these little things unless you have a light and a magnifying glass. This was specifically made with the low coupler to go with the low coupler semi-scale cars or the 2623, or is it 2326? Anyway, the pre-war Madison cars that have the low coupler. Now, I made up others, and like this version, this would be like for the Blue Comet cars with the nickel journals and the high coupler, or the work train set, with the crane and the searchlight. except for the one they made late in the 40s, or no, the last one they made before the war with the deep dish wheels. It would have had a low coupler. High coupler, but with the push rod. So, anyhow, you know, I've seen people with sets for sale that always mixture of semi-scale cars with high and low couplers. And the deal is, if you don't have the right tender setup, you can't even pull these cars. So anyway, I hope this helps you all, and like and subscribe and feel free to email me if you want to see anything. I actually am, in the future, we're going to make some brass engines. Now these are the iron wheels, and I actually took a 675 motor, took the wheels off, bored them, put the standard gauge axle through, pressed them on, and then put these on, and they weren't quite tight, so put a little super glue on them that keeps them. But I'll show you a completed one like this. But this is going to end up, we're going to make up a rendition of a number 6 standard gauge. I think it's a 7 already, and we'll take you over and show you that. Okay, so I made this. It has a Mike's Trainhouse super motor in it, a Build-A-Loco motor, in fact. And everything else is handmade. The rods, the steam chest, the boiler, the nickel bands. I think the pilot's the only thing I got, and then these are some later wheels I made the front truck out of. And the reason for this is I got a real tender for it. And a friend of mine, Mike Elias, he and Dick McNary, way back when, used to go searching the northern old stores, and they got new old stock, these early cars, like this box car. That's original paint. Even got the old yellow box for it, the gondola, the coal hopper, the flat car, the tank car, the green cattle car. None of these have been repainted. That's the way they found them, and the caboose. So I thought it deserved an engine. And right below here, this is the first one I made. And it's got the same motor and wheels that I just showed you in it. And I made the tender, and I had these bodies. I had to make the roofs because I didn't have. In the future, I'm going to do a video making a brass engine if I got enough brass sheet metal left. But if you want to see anything specifically, like I bought some battery damaged Jeeps, and I totally made them look better. I mean, a whole lot better. The Great Northern had some battery damage on the frame, and I fixed it. But anyhow, if you have any questions, there's broken shells. We got acrylic monomer that we can show you how to fix all kinds of stuff. And just ask. And I hope you have fun with your trains. Thank you. Good evening.